Hello again. We are going to be simplifying and solving equations today. So we're going to pull in some more of those simplifying expression skills that we learned in our last topic. And we are going to use them to help us solve our equations now. So to solve an equation, it must be in simplest form. An expression is in simplest form when it has no parentheses. Having a bit of deja vu now, right? And no like terms. So things have been distributed and combined. And so what do you do when you see parentheses? You must use the distributive property. So A times B plus C, remember we multiply it by everything inside. So I end up with A times B plus A times C. So I multiply by everything inside, the sign comes with it. So just a little review here. I get 3 times A plus 3 times 9, and that simplifies to 3A plus 27. When I distribute a negative, I have to remember to think of it like that. So I've got negative 7 times 2C. And then with my group, I thought of this as a negative 17 as well, because I feel like when we don't, we lose it. So negative 7 times 2 gives me a negative 14C. Negative 7 times negative 17. Mrs. Williams is going to cheat. It's really late. 119. So negative times a negative is a positive. And we get 119 there. If at any time, as always, if you want to stop the video and try it out before I do it, you're more than welcome to do that. So simplify the side with the parentheses. And that is typically also going to have the variable in it. So I'm going to draw lines, and I draw mine through the equal sign. I inverse the order of operations. In other words, I do the opposite of PEMDAS. I go in the opposite order. So that PEMDAS, and I go backwards through it. I'm going to take care of the addition and subtraction first, then move on to multiplication and division, then any exponents that I need to. So then I'm going to solve for the variable. And the one kind of strange thing, you're like, but the parentheses, they're over there at the beginning, and we actually want to take care of those first. We want to get rid of them. So you can think of it as parentheses and then heading back that way. So I'm going to take care of this distributive property. I'm going to draw that line just so I don't lose it and things don't get crazy. So I'm going to go 3 times x, which is 3x, and 3 times 10, which is 30. Both the 3 and the 10 are positive, so I end up with a plus sign there. And now this looks like something we know how to do that we've done before. I'm adding 30. There's my variable. It's being multiplied by 3, but it's having 30 added to it. And now we want to go in the opposite of PEMDAS there, the opposite of the order operation. So I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. Don't lose that coefficient 3 out in front of that x. That's one big mistake I see people make. Multiplying by 3 here, so I'm going to divide by 3. Whatever I do to one side, I got to do the other side. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I have 1x there, so x equals 60 divided by 3 is 20. Got a couple more here. I'm going to draw that line. I'm going to pass out that negative 4. Negative 4 times c is negative 4c. Negative 4 times 9 gives me a negative 36. So I'm going to subtract that 36. And don't lose that that's a negative 56. That's another reason I kind of draw that line through the equal sign here so that it doesn't get mixed in with my negative sign. So once again, there's my variable. It's being multiplied by negative 4. I cannot do that first. I got to get rid of this. So I'm subtracting 36. I'm going to add 36. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the other side so that my boat continues to float. Now negative 56 and a negative 56 and a positive 36. My 56 is negative, 56 has the larger absolute value, so I know my answer is going to be negative, and I'm different signs, so I'm going to subtract them. And I get negative 20. Now I'm ready to divide by that negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is going to give me a positive 1. So I have 1c, and negative divided by negative is going to give me a positive over here as well. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Our next one here, line going down again, passing out a negative 9 this time. And just so we make sure we don't mess anything up here, I'm going to write it out. Negative 9 times 3d, and negative 9 times, like I said, I think of that as a negative 21. Negative 9 times 3 gives me a negative 27d. My negative times my negative here is going to give me a positive. And then 9 times 21. Now, I'm going to subtract that 189 from both sides. I have negative 27d, positive 81, negative 189. I am actually subtracting those two like this. This is my larger absolute value and it's negative, so I know I'm going to end up with a negative there. But since they're opposite signs, I'm then going to divide by negative 27. This is going to give me that positive 1d there again. Negative divided by negative gives me a positive, and 108 divided by 27 is giving me a 4. Our last one here, I might use a couple different colors. We have got that equal sign. And we have our distributive property. We also have something, see that plus sign next to the parenthesis? So it's not getting multiplied. This is going to get added on at the end. We want to make sure we don't lose it when we do our distributive property. So 3 times f is 3f. 3 times 7 is 21. And then I have to make sure I don't lose that 4f. Now, once I've gotten rid of my parentheses, I want to look for like terms. On the same side, I have like terms, so I'm just going to combine them. So I've got a 3f and a 4f, and that gives me 7f. Now, I still have the plus 21 equal to 42. Now, no more like terms on this side, no more like terms on this side, so now I'm going to have to move some things around back and forth to balance my boat. So subtract 21 from both sides. My 7f is still there. 42 minus 21 is 21. Divide by 7. 7 divided by 7 gives me that 1f, and that gives me f is equal to 3. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, Mrs. Williams, when am I ever going to use this? So let's take a look. We've got 3 times the sum of a number and 8. And as soon as I see the sum of a number, this is telling me I'm going to have parentheses. That's my equal sign. So I've got 3 times, and this says the sum of a number and 8. And so I've now written my equation. I've got 3 times the sum of n plus 8 equals 12. When I simplify that, that means I'm going to pass it out. So I get 3n plus 24 equals 12. And now this looks very familiar. Subtract 24 from both sides. And I'm going to get n is equal to negative 4. So from words now, right into writing that equation and solving it. I've got 9 times And just like we had the sum of, we have the difference of a number and 9 is 45. So we know where that equal sign is. Toss my parentheses. Difference means I'm going to subtract. So the difference of a number, once again, we don't know what that number is. We'll call it x this time. And I'm multiplying it by 9. So I've got 9 times x minus 19 equals 45. So just going to pull it down here this time. When I simplify it, I'm going to get 9x. I've got 9 times negative 19. Just in case you don't know how to use those, that's how you make a number negative there. So there is my simplified equation that now I'm ready to solve. So 9x minus 171 equals 45. Draw that line down. Add 171 to both sides. Divide both sides by 9, and I'm going to get x equals 24 for that one. You're going to see some triangle problems down here. We've got the area. So it says the area of a rectangle is 58 square units. Solve for x. Well, in order to find area, it's length times width, or width times length, and whatever the case may be here. So I've got 4 times x plus 12. And since I need the 4 to be times both of those, I need to make sure that I set it up with parentheses. So that again was area equals length times width to help you out there. So when I simplify it, 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 12 is 48. Subtract 48 from both sides there. I get 4x equals 10. Divided by 4 gives me 2.5. So x equals 2.5 units. These next two are similar. One's a rectangle, one's a square, but we find the areas the same way. So if you want to pause and then turn it back on and check out the answer, that would be a good idea. So if you paused and tried that out, you can now see the work that I did to get the answer. So check your work, see if you agree, see if you got lost. Let me know if you have any questions there. This next one was actually perimeter, so I wanted to turn back on and do this one. So it says my perimeter is 84 units, and I have 2 times the length, which is 3x plus 2, plus 2 times the width, which is 2 times 2 times x plus 5. And that looks a little crazy, so I wanted to work with that through you. We've got 2 different distributive properties going on here, and this one looks normal. 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 2 is 4. This last one, I need to kind of do this twice. I have plus 2 times, and here I get 2x plus 10, and then I need to do the distributive property again to get 4x plus 20. You're like, that looks a little crazy. Let's combine like terms here. So why don't you pause and see if you can combine like terms. Running a little short on time with this video, so I went ahead and did the last 2 so you could take a look at the work and see if you could figure those out. Went ahead and worked this one all the way through. With the triangle down here, it is the height of the triangle, which is 12 times the base. So these I don't even need the 7x minus 2. They are just extra